My name is Jason, and I'm 29. I work as a mechanic in a small town, just outside a major city. Late nights are nothing new to me. After long shifts fixing engines and troubleshooting cars, I usually find the drive home to be a peaceful way to wind down. I crank up some music, roll the windows down, and let the quiet roads take me back to my little rental house on the edge of town. But one night, a drive that was supposed to be routine turned into something I still can't explain without feeling the same chill I felt that night. It was a Tuesday, and I had stayed late at the shop to finish a rush job for a regular customer. By the time I left, it was past midnight. The roads were nearly deserted, with only the occasional passing car. The highway stretched out in front of me, its lanes illuminated by nothing but my headlights and the dim glow of the moon. I was about 10 minutes into my drive when I noticed a pair of headlights in my rearview mirror. At first, I didn't think much of it, but after a few minutes, it became clear that the car behind me was following too closely. Probably just someone in a hurry, I muttered to myself, brushing it off. But something about the way the car moved unsettled me. Whenever I switched lanes, it did the same. When I slowed down, so did the car. And when I sped up, it matched my pace, staying right on my bumper. I felt a twinge of unease and decided to test a theory. At the next exit, I took a turn off the highway onto a quieter, darker road. There was no reason for anyone to be heading this way. It led to a stretch of farmland and eventually looped back to town. The car followed me. Now, I wasn't just uneasy. I was nervous. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, my mind racing through every possibility. Was it road rage? Some kind of prank? Or something worse? I tried shaking the car off, making abrupt turns and even cutting through a small side street I knew well. But no matter what I did, those headlights stayed behind me, unwavering. The road became darker and more isolated as I drove. The trees lining the sides of the road seemed to close in, their shadows flickering like hands reaching out to grab me. My heart pounded as I realized I had lost any nearby streetlights or houses. I fumbled for my phone and tried calling my friend Matt, but the signal was weak. The call wouldn't go through. At this point, panic started to set in. I couldn't see who was driving the car behind me, but I could feel their presence, watching my every move. Then something changed. The car behind me suddenly sped up, closing the gap between us. The headlights grew brighter, almost blinding in my rearview mirror. I could feel my chest tighten as adrenaline kicked in. I spotted an all-night gas station up ahead and made a quick decision. The station was well lit, and I figured there might be someone inside who could help. I pulled into the parking lot and parked near the entrance. The car followed, pulling in just a few spaces away. I kept my engine running, my eyes locked on the other car. The driver's door opened, and a figure stepped out, a tall, shadowy silhouette moving slowly toward me. My hand hovered over my phone, ready to call 911, even though I wasn't sure the call would go through. The figure got closer, their face still obscured by the harsh lights of the station. Just then, the sound of another engine cut through the tense silence. A police car pulled into the station, its blue and red lights flashing. The figure froze for a moment before quickly retreating to their car. Within seconds, they were back behind the wheel, speeding off into the night. The officer stepped out of his cruiser and walked over to my car. "You okay, sir?" he asked. I nodded, my voice shaky as I explained what had happened. The officer frowned. "You're not the first person to report something like this," he said. "We've had several calls about a car matching that description. The driver's been harassing people on these roads for weeks." When I asked if they knew who it was, his expression darkened. "The person we believe is behind this has a history of violent offenses," he said, "including a murder charge that was dropped due to lack of evidence. If you hadn't stopped here, things could have gone very differently." The officer offered to follow me home, and I gratefully accepted. As I pulled back onto the road, I couldn't stop thinking about how close I'd come to something far worse. Even now, months later, I avoid driving late at night, unless it's absolutely necessary. The thought of those headlights in my rearview mirror still haunts me, because sometimes it's not the darkness of the road that's scary, it's the people hiding in it.